Okay, class, picking up where we left off at, we're going to start with example 5, and it says solve. I took the liberty of filling out a few things here that I'm going to go through and explain step by step. Don't worry about this blue box here because I will explain that in just one moment. Okay, now, we look at this equation here. We have the square root of 3x plus 10 is equal to x plus 4. Now, what we must do is this here. We want to try and get the radical or square root on the side by itself. And we can do that by subtracting each side by 10. So we subtract 10 here, subtract 10 here. Now, we bring down our square root of 3x, and that equals, we'll bring down our x, positive 4 minus 10 will give us a minus 6. So now we have the square root of 3x is equal to x minus 6. Now we have to square both sides. Now square root of 3x squared leaves us 3x. And that equals, parenthesis x minus 6 squared breaks down to x minus 6 times x minus 6. Now, we have to multiply this. We have to use the distributive property over these two binomials. So we have x times x, then we have plus x times negative 6, a minus 6 times x, and a minus 6 times a minus 6. Now we multiply them. We still bring down our 3x. X times x is x squared. X times a minus 6 is a minus 6x. A minus 6 times x is a minus 6x. And a minus 6 times a minus 6 is a positive 36. Now we combine like terms here. And we will end up with 3x is equal to x squared. A minus 6 minus 6x minus 6x will give us minus 12x. And we bring down our plus 36. Now we have to subtract 3x on both sides. And that will give us 0 is equal to x squared minus 15x plus 36. Now, we have to factor this side in order to see what x is equal to. Now, what I did up here, behind this box here, is what was done in order to do this here. So I'm going to get rid of the box, and this is what we came up with here. Now we have our A, our B, and our C. Now our A is 1, our B is negative 15, and our C is 36. So you know we multiply A times C, which will give us 36, because 1 times 36 is 36. And then we multiply, we find all the factors of 36, which is 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and also 9, and then 6 and 6. Now what happens is this here. Because C is positive and B is negative, that means all of the signs of all of these numbers would be negative, even though a few of them disappeared a little bit. And what we would do is we would just go through and add the one that gives us negative 15, which would be negative 3 and negative 12. So now we scroll down here and we substitute in the negative 3 and negative 12 for the 15x. So we would have 0 is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 12x plus 36. 0 is equal to, we group the first two terms, we can factor out an x, and we will have x minus 3. We group the second two terms. Because this lead term here is negative, whatever we factor out has to be negative. So we'll factor out a negative 12, and that'll leave us x minus 3. So now one parenthesis, we have everything on the outside, which would be x minus 12. And then a second parenthesis would be one of the two repeating parentheses. So now we would set both of these individual parentheses equal to 0. So we have x minus 12 equals 0 and x minus 3 equals 0. So we would add 12 on both sides, and x is equal to 12. Here we would add 3 to both sides, and x is equal to 3. Now what we need to do, we need to go back to this original problem and substitute in 12 and also 3 into this problem to see if it works. And if it does, we keep both of the answers. If it doesn't, we will get rid of whichever answer that doesn't work. So let's start off with I would suggest that we start off with 12. So we'll have square root of 3 times 12 plus 10 is equal to 12 plus 4. So it'll be the square root of 36 plus 10 is equal to 12 plus 4, which is 16. The square root of 36 is 6 plus 10 equals 16, and 16 equals 16. So we know 12 works. Now we want to try 3. So taking the same equation, we're going to put in 3 for x. So we have square root of 3 times 3 plus 10 is equal to 3 plus 4. So we have the square root of 9 plus 10, and 3 plus 4 is 7. The square root of 9 is 3, plus 10 is 7, and we know 13 does not equal 7. So 3 does not work. So our final answer here, we scroll back down here, our final answer here would just be 12. It would not include 3 because 3 does not work. So it is very important that you check your answers to make sure that it works. So x equals 12 is our answer, and we know x equals 3 will not work. Okay, now we scroll down here to the next problem. And this is the last problem of section 8.5. Now, come down here, it says objective 2, solve problems involving square root models. It says when firefighters are working to put out a fire, the rate at which they spray water on the fire depends on the nozzle pressure. The formula F equals 120 times the square root of P models the water's flow rate, F, in gallons per minute, in terms of the nozzle pressure, P, in pounds per square inch. What nozzle pressure is needed to achieve a water flow rate of 840 gallons per minute? So we'll write down a formula. F is equal to 120 times the square root of P. Now we have the flow rate, which is 840. So we substitute in 840 for F, and that equals 120 times the square root of P. Now, what we would have to do here is we're going to divide each side by 120 because we have 120 square root P and we want to get the square root of P by itself. So we divide each side by 120. And 840 divided by 120 is 7. And these 120 simplify out and leave you the square root of P. Now, to get the P by itself, we have to square both sides. So 7 to the second power is 49, and the square root of P squared is just P. So now we have 49 is equal to P. Now that is the end of that problem. Now what we have to do is write out the statement, which I put behind this blue box here. And here is the statement for the final answer. The nozzle pressure must be 49 pounds per square inch in order to have a water flow of 840 gallons per minute. And that is your final answer.